Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. We have two bourbon whiskeys. The first is from 1934, but not the current edition of it. And this is the second edition, but this is 1934 Hiram Walker's 10 High. And there's Hiram Walker, 1879, but this is not from 1879. This is Kentucky, Sour Mash Kentucky blended whiskey. Let me restate that. Sour Mash Kentucky bourbon whiskey, a blend. Sorry, I couldn't get it right. Sour Mash Kentucky bourbon whiskey, a blend. It says 51% straight whiskey, 4 years or more old, and 49% grain neutral spirits. Oh, nice. So it's aged at least 4 years. It says bottled in Los Angeles, California, and also Bardstown, Kentucky, and Owensboro, Kentucky. I think current because I'm doing it right now. What I mean is, I think this whiskey is out of production. I think it's been replaced totally by the new third edition 10 High, which is the bourbon whiskey with natural flavors, no age statement, which would mean it would have to be at least 4 years old. I don't know that for sure, but I get the suspicion. I did find this last week, though, a week ago today at a local store, so it's still on the shelves. It was $9.99. Now, here is something from 2018. It's called Jim Beam Repeal Batch. And this was introduced in 2018 for the 85th anniversary. Yeah, I was trying to calculate that in my head. 85th anniversary of Prohibition's repeal, says it on the side of the bottle. It's non-chill filtered, and it's 86 proof. All right. I noticed this going around $17 a bottle, if you can find it. It's kind of being phased out, I guess. It's a limited edition, been on the market 5 years now. But I don't know if you can. I don't see it around anymore. I paid $12.87 for it at Walmart. Everybody else had it $17.99. Walmart had it $12.87. You could track it down. You could look on the Beam-Suntory website or beamdistillers.com and check out their locator tool. It'll probably tell you who's got it. I remember I had a hard time finding Jim Beam Choice. I found it in 2017, and it was discontinued in 2017. I found it the year it was discontinued, but I did find it. I was so excited. Found 2 bottles at Red Dot Liquors in Frankfort, Kentucky. And then a guy was telling me, oh, we don't carry that. I said, no? Okay. It says he's the guy at the liquor store. I figured he knows what he's talking about. So I said, let me just look around this store a little bit more. So I was walking around and I see 2 bottles, Jim Beam Choice. I said, I thought you didn't carry it. Oh, that's all he said. Oh. And those were $17.99. That was the old charcoal filtered Jim Beam. Gone. Well, that's gone. My bottle's gone. I went through it. I did enough taste challenges. Uh-oh. Yikes. Poured a little too much. Well, I can't fix that because I have no more Jim Beam to add to it. Well, I got a little bit of it, and then it's gone. So we'll just have to make do. That's it. The bottle's finally finished after all these years. Oba. Well, it's one down. Another one down. Okay. So appearance. Oh, that's pretty even. Those drops made the difference. It's not quite even, but it's close. 10 highs, a slight teeny weensy bit dark. Cheers to you, Hector. Hector says cheers to me. Okay, so you say, well, what's the difference between this Jim Beam straight bourbon, no age statement, which means it has to be at least 4 years old. Non-chill filter. That just means they don't chill filter it. They don't filter it, so it could have sediment in it. It says it on the bottle, like a warning. This may contain sediment. I didn't notice too much. And what's the difference between sour mash, bourbon whiskey, a blend? Well, sour mash, they're using a particular type of production method where they take some of the leftover mash from the previous batch and they put it in the new batch to kind of like prime it, like they do with that friendship bread, where you take the old dough and you mix the new dough, or sourdough bread. Okay, so it doesn't taste really sour. Well, to me, it does sometimes taste a little bit like a sourdough bagel, but Dr. James Crow was the big pioneer in developing that. You still see Old Crow whiskey around, the original sour mash whiskey from 1835. I don't really notice that any Jim Beams are sour mash. Right, let's see. Jack Daniels is. Let's see. Oh, yeah, blended bourbon whiskey, a blend. Well, that means it's allowed to have up to 49% grain neutral spirits, unaged corn whiskey. Doesn't have to be made with corn. Grain neutral could be any kind of grain. It could be rice, could be wheat, but it's usually corn. It wouldn't matter anyway, because it's going to be odorless, colorless, and clear. It's going to be distilled to where it's just a neutral spirit. That's what they're saying. Grain neutral spirit. It has to be made from grain, though. It can't be made from vegetable or fruit. There are other products like potato vodka made from potatoes. Okay. Neutral spirit. But it has to be at least 51% straight whiskey. Obviously, straight bourbon, since it's a bourbon. Okay, but that is allowed. That is a class of bourbon. I'm not sitting here saying it's good. It is a legally allowed class. It is allowed to have flavoring added, natural or artificial, true story. And it's allowed to have coloring added. And they do not have to disclose that. Hang like that. And they got some pretty expensive blended bourbons on the market. Like, you can look around. But if they want to tell you that they're adding coloring and flavoring, fine, they're allowed to do. They can do that, but they're not required to. And this does not mention it. So is it colored or flavored? I really could not tell you. I don't know. But anyhow, I do know it's bottled in California and Kentucky because it says it on the bottle. I know it's 80 proof, says it on the bottle. And the other one's 83 proof. So I think the proof, the ABV is going to matter here. 43% versus 40. Hector says, did you see what happened at Mardi Gras on the news? Yeah. Well, at the Carnival Parade, because Mardi Gras is actually tomorrow, starts at midnight, the Fat Tuesday. Mardi Gras. Mardi is Tuesday. Gras is fat. Yeah, I saw. And I'm not going to say anything because I'll say the wrong thing. Know what I mean? Okay. I mean, it'll actually be the right thing. But you know what I mean? How people say I said the wrong thing. But keep your mouth shut. All right. There's a lot of corn in the nose here, and it's musty, funky, monkey nose. I didn't say it was bad. I didn't say it was offensive. I just said it's fusty, monkey, funky. It's like, it's almost like popcorn in a way. I mean, with no oil, obviously, no salt. Maybe like, don't they have those air fryers for pop? I never use that, but don't they have air fryers that you don't use oil? And it's got that kind of, yeah. What about oak? There is a little vanilla in oak. Yeah, I mean, it just smells like generalized whiskey, but it's not a bad aroma. But I'm saying it's kind of simplistic or something like that. Would I complain for $9.99 a bottle? I wouldn't complain for $9.99 a bottle. No, not the cheapest I've ever paid for whiskey. I've paid less than that. Can you believe it? It's true. I bought scotch, full size, not a half, 750 milliliters. Scotch for, want to guess, $3.98. Famous brand. I didn't say it was a well-regarded brand. I said it was a famous brand. 100 Pipers. Still got most of the bottle. All right, the aroma here. Yeah, it's kind of the same. But maybe less popcorn, unsalted, non-oiled, air popped. More vanilla and oak. So my initial thinking, which could be an error, but initially I'm thinking this is the Jim Beam Prohibition Repeal, and that is the 10 high. I'm really not sure. It's oh, I have a drop left of that Prohibition Repeal, and I'm going to use it too. I don't waste a single drop. All right. Oh man, let's go with the taste. Cheers. It's light bodied, but golly, I sure am getting a lot of oak. It's just like you sipped an oak barrel. Vanilla, charred oak. Maybe it is 83% alcohol. Maybe that's a Jim Beam. And I said it was funky, musty, monkey thing. That thing, what they call that. All right, let's go over here. Oh. Same thing. Now, charred oak, the vanilla, the corn. Okay. Let's see. Let's think about this for a minute. They're both very charred, oaky-ish. They're both kind of light-bodied, and the alcohol level, 43% versus 40, isn't really making much of an impact. I thought it would make some impact, but it isn't really. So $9.99 versus $12.87. Not even a $3 difference. I can't say I got it on a special deal because that's just what Walmart had it for. On the shelf, regular price tag, not closeout or discount. $12.87. Okay. Okay. And it sold out and they never brought it back. I guess they figured limited time, we're going to limit it. But I think rain is coming, but they still have it listed on the Jim Beam website. Okay. This is tough. King of the Dots. Is this Friday? No. My thoughts on Steel Reserve. If you can find the 6%, buy it. The 8%, that's a little gamey, like a little rough. I used to drink it back in 98, 99. Well, I can't say I drank it regularly, but I had bought it, back in 98, 99 when it first hit the market in Louisiana. I think it might be older than that. Maybe it's from 98. And it was 8.1, and we got it. And I used to buy it right there at the local store, Schwegmann's, which went out of business. They got bought out. Well, they dissipated. It just went away. And then a new company open. But when it was Schwegman's, John Schwegman lost the company, mismanagement mostly. But when it was Schwegman's, they had it. It was cheap, inexpensive, wasn't, super low. But I wasn't thrilled. I thought it was too harsh to drink. Too harsh. So then Miller bought it in 2001, Miller Brewing Company, meaning Philip Morris cigarette company. But Philip Morris Altria, the big parent company, bought it. So they, for whatever strange reason, couldn't explain this. They came out with a new product in 2003 called Steel 6, Steel Reserve. Initially, it was called Steel 6, different label, but that lasted like a day. And then it was just the same label that we get here. Or you get there. But it was 6%. I said, what's this 6%? This is odd. And then no more 8.1 ever seen again in Louisiana in 20 years. So the 6% was much nicer and milder and more mellow. So I like Steel Reserve 6%. I would buy 30 packs, but we can't get them here. I have many times bought 12 packs. Normally they come in the 6 packs of the pint cans. Very nice. Or the 42 ounce big bottles. Very nice product. Very nice product. 8.1, little rough. 6%, mighty fine. And that's all I got to say about it. All right. No wonder the price of steel 24s went up dramatically. Steel is very heavy. I like to be awake too much. Tasty. Yeah, try the 6% if you ever see it. I think it's only sold in like 4 states. Yeah, so you could be in Vinton, Louisiana. It's 6%. Cross the bridge. Just miles away, like literally 4 miles or less. And then you go to Orange, Texas, and it's 8.1. So if you live there, you can buy both. All right. Well, let's say this. Even with all the things I mentioned, non-chill filtered, and this one's blended, and that one's straight, and all of those things. Honestly, and I'm always honest, I'm not always correct, and I'm not always getting it right. And, and I make factual statements that I later say, oh, that wasn't right, or whatever. But I'm honest. I'm telling you the truth. They don't taste that different one from the other. I'm not a whiskey expert. I'm not a trained person, except from home training. I do a lot of homeschooling with this, but I don't see much difference in the flavors. Sorry. So which one wins? Obviously the one that's cheaper. So the $9.99 whiskey wins because it's practically the same flavor, and you're saving over $2, nearly $3, 12 cents. So $2.88. Yeah, I would save the $2.88. Now you say, oh, but you're not getting as much alcohol. You're getting 40% less. Except, what am I trying to say? 40% instead of, that was the term, instead of 43. Well, I mean, if you're that addicted to alcohol, you might want to go talk to somebody. I mean, so what? 43%, 40. It's nothing. Now you might be thinking, you can't get any kind of quality, no kind of quality whiskey for that low price. Well, actually, that's not true. You can. Just goes to show you can. Are they world class? Great. Well, I've never had a world class whiskey. I don't think I ever had a world class whiskey. I don't know what they taste like. But they taste very nice. These are very nice. I would drink them again in theory. Now, of course, I'm not going to drink the Jim Beam again in theory because I don't have any more, and I got too many other things in my back stock, and there's no need to buy anything else for about 10 years. I'm literally not exaggerating. So would I recommend the 10 high? I would recommend it if you like the good flavor of whiskey and you're not too persnickety. And but really, I don't think you have to qualify it. It tastes all right. I'm sorry. It's people going to say only bums drink that. That's terrible. Oh yeah, it's well, you know. Call Sazerac and tell them it's terrible. I bought it, and I wasn't under any compulsion to buy it. I did not buy it under duress. But that being said, I think that is the 10. Nope, backtrack. I think that is the Jim Beam, because as you drink it down, it does start to develop more charred oak, more body, more ABV feeling with it. So I'm going to have to say this is the Jim Beam. I'm going to take one more sip of the 10 high. Let's say this is 10 high. I'm going to call it 10 high. It is. I got it right. Thank you. I haven't gotten it wrong yet. I don't think so with 10 high. Don't believe I have. It's a strong competitor. It's not quite as good now that I'm sipping on it. That's it. Like literally the last drop. But it's not bad. I would. Actually, I would just buy both. Why not? $9.99 and $12.87. So I mean, $22 and $21.88. You probably could afford that. All right. It's sort of like a moot point with this video, though, because I think Jim Beam Prohibition Repeal is pretty much dead in the water as far as availability now. I would bet you by 2024 they're not going to have it on the website anymore. All right. Now, how is 10 High going to do against Evan Williams' green label tomorrow? I'm not talking about the black label, the famous one, 86 proof that everybody sees everywhere. I'm talking about this oddball green label, which you can't even find on their website. They don't acknowledge it. But I bought 750 milliliters of it, and it was $9.98. It was a penny cheaper, and it's straight bourbon. So imagine I paid a penny more for blended bourbon over the straight. That ain't nothing new. Okay, so let's see. So I'm gonna say the winner is, there's no winner. There's a tie. It's a tie, because when you consider the price and then the flavor, and then really the flavor is not that different. So it's like like my friend David's always saying, it's what and what. It's what and what. It's like whatever one you want to deal with. And I agree with that. So Jean-Pierre's never had this version of 10 High, because I guess he can't get it. But he's had the current 10 High, the bourbon with natural flavors, which I have to make a U-turn and come back and do the whole thing again in about a month. But yeah, so let's see. Comments. Good evening, Jay, says Jean-Pierre. Good evening to you. I hope you join us tomorrow about an hour from this time, or less than an hour from this time, with what you call that? Grolsch, Pilsner Grolsch. Unless y'all want to start earlier. I don't know what my friend David, if he can get home from work in time, but if he wants to start earlier, I'd just soon start it earlier, but it's up to y'all. As soon as possible, though. Okay, I wish I could find that good of a price. 6-packs. I wish you could too. I'm there already, Ron. I'm practicing trying to save pennies now before they really have to. How can I learn to drink slowly, Ron? I don't know. You have to talk to a drinking coach, I think. Hey, the U.S. doesn't acknowledge China. Oh, yes, they do. If a country could make a good whiskey, the U.S. would give them $200 billion. I guess King of the Dots, in other words, Geary has kind of gone off to La La Land a little bit, folks. So wish him well. I have a feeling this was not the first drink of the day for him. But anyway, so final assessment. If you're looking to spend a lot less than normal for bourbon whiskeys of different sorts, these could be two good. You're welcome. These could be two good options to try. Prohibition. Well, let's turn the light off. We don't need that. I don't want any more. The lamp goes off. Look how dark now. So Jim Beam, good choice. Prohibition edition. Probably can't find it. Likewise, 10 High, Kentucky Bourbon, Sour Mash Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey, a blend. Probably can't find this either. Now, I know what you're going to say. I found 10 High in my neighborhood last week. It's so common. That's the Eagle 10 High, the one with the eagle on it. America's native spirit. That's the new version. That ain't this one. If you can find this one, yeah, pick it up. What the heck? $9.99. Old Tub is better, says Wishbones. I've not tried Old Tub. Been seeing a lot about it. If I didn't have such a huge bourbon backstock, I would get it. But if you saw this backstock, I'm not joking. If you saw what I have, you would be like, I told people, you would either be impressed or appalled. You know what I'm saying? You'd say, oh, you need to drink all that first. What's going on? So I have to get through it. It's going to take, I'm saying 10 years. I'm not kidding. So yeah, by that time, 10 years, people will be saying, yeah, I remember that product they used to make called Old Chub, but there'll probably still be a few bottles lingering around by that time. But at that time, yeah, so get ready for tomorrow morning. Jim Beam, forget Jim Beam. Tomorrow morning, Evan Williams Green Label, the elusive Evan Williams Green Label versus 10 High. I've got a new idea. The United States of the Mississippi River and Ohio Valley Bourbon Central. I'm not kidding. Okay. Yeah, he's not kidding. He's just kind of, you know what happens when they knock too many back. All right. So, all right. Well, I got to get back to planet Earth now, Gary. So y'all take care.